Today I decided to make this video about something important about wrestling, but unfortunately today passed away one of the greatest generals of all time by the name of Duško Vujošević, and I'm kind of in that mood of just feeling like I wish I could say a lot of things, but I don't think it's put on 5,000 pages, let alone this random YouTube video. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the S4E4, and today I'm talking about General Duško Vujošević. May he forever gracefully rests in peace. And CM Punk's promo yesterday on Monday Night Raw. A lot of things that they have in common is the way they spoke and they carried themselves in this era, in this style of passivity and back and forth, whatever the fuck. But the point is, when he passed away, a part of us died when it comes to grave diggers ourselves. He was like a representative of freedom of speech and fighting for the right cause, even that cause was lost in the first place. He said it, the general, it's an aristocratic thing to fight for the already lost cause. And that was the symbolism of his partisan when he led it, and he was the champion 14 times in a row. So, and that pissed a lot of people off because the other club kind of wanted that glory and the spotlight, but they have to do it artificially, When he fought for the right cause, he was gaslighted and treated very badly in this case context, but I'm talking to you the same way CM Punk is going to piss off a lot of people with his promos, but the similarities between the General and the Rebel lie in one thing: believing for that and expressing his feelings right here. Because in my country, unfortunately, the YouTubers aren't expressing their feelings, not in that emotional sense. I'm meaning, what's wrong with this fucked up country of Sorabendia/Serbia? And General and the Rebel really are fighting to fight for that freedom, because in my country, freedom was fought with the payment of blood and bones and ideology and people. And the similarities between the General and the Rebel, because when Vujošević spoke, everybody listened. When CM Punk spoke, everybody listened. And now I'm trying to say that in this case, the context when he passed away, so with me, there's this a real sentimental sorrow for me, like a nostalgia of those times when everything was much smoother and easier for me. And for the people in general. But I'm saying is that he carried us to the Final Four in 2010. In Paris, and with a very limited budget and in a very restricted spotlight. I mean, in the sense of Partizan Belgrade not being being sponsored by anybody important, and that's the final fact of this message. As I'm saying, is in this context, what I meant is that Partizan went to Paris without any fucking sponsors at all. I mean, even if we had them, they kind of gave us pennies for dimes, and you know the story. But the General believed in this idea and ideology the same way CM Punk believes in his ideology. Is it polarizing? Of course. Was General polarizing? Duško Vujošević? Yes. Especially to those people who wanted to keep passivity, status quo, not anything happening transparently in our country of Sorabendia. But you have to look at the bigger picture and see why General Duško Vujošević, may he forever rest in peace, and CM Punk have a lot in common when it comes to expressing. Now, people in the comments are probably going to say, yes, but CM Punk was paid millions and he's pretending he's an actor, whatever the fuck. Look, bro, I respect your opinion, but I believe from my standpoint, I'm talking about myself personally, CM Punk and Duško Vujošević shaped my childhood. So this is what I believe in and expressing the opinion. Without, yes, is this going to be polarizing? Yeah, usually to the losers, because CM Punk said yesterday, being hated by losers is the price I pay for not being one of them. And that's something that really cemented in my mind, because you have to, in this rant you have to understand that freedom is always fought and never earned or given on a silver platter. If it's a given on a silver platter, that means it was never yours in the first place. Duško Vujošević fought alone, and when I mean alone, you can ask any grave digger from Belgrade to any city in Sorabendia in Serbia, to United States of America, to Australia, to Russia, to any country that is fan of Partizan Belgrade. They know. Ask them. They know what happened to Duško Vujošević in these struggling years. Not all the years were flowers and honey pot and honey badger doesn't care. Everything had a price, and his decision to be independent and to do his own thing and being hated for it really cost him his life and his health, because he gave his life for Partizan Belgrade. And you can check in and read in his books about Duško Vujošević when he was even younger. in my age, he had like a very bad temper because one of the greatest basketball coaches, and as a basketball coach, boy oh boy, you don't want to cross him over. He was like before people understand this like a very negatively, I'm saying he was like a Homelander temper in basketball, and that was a good thing because he gave the best and he had the best to make them become even better players. Ask Joffrey Laverne. Ask him, and he's going to say you the same thing as I'm saying to you right now. The similarities between General and CM Punk, the Rebel and the General, is they fought for that cause, even that cause could be lost. I don't believe like the cause for Partizan Belgrade is going to be lost, because what we have survived in these 80 years, no sane club has ever did it before. I'm trying to say that in this case, context, fighting is the only option that remains, and I'm giving this to address the gravediggers that have their divisions and fractions. If there ever has been like a really good moment to ponder and contemplate about this, or to lament, is now for us to unite as gravediggers, because we have been distracted and tormented from each other a very long time ago. And if that's not the reason for you to get pissed off and we get united, I don't know what is. I'm saying is the General's death should be a motivating steer cursor for us, so we can just think about and say, well, he gave life for what he believed in. Now it's our turn to give life for what he believed in. Now, not a lot of people are going to be like graceful about it, but I'm saying it as what CM Punk says and Duško Vujošević. They fought for that thing, even though not. Remember when CM Punk first was in WWE from 2006 to 2014, but let's say 2011. You get the point. He wasn't taken seriously by anybody. He even refused to wear suits when he was a World Heavyweight Champion. He refused to bend to the rules. He refused to play the rules in the company and still make his own creed. Not too many people can do that in that very and remember, in that restricted system in the PG era, he even found ways to make it entertaining and still entertain the people, even though the restrictions were like playing like a Reaper challenge in Neverwinter, and there are a lot of restrictions and you cannot do much. But when you do it without that much restriction, man, that's a completely another story. But the point I'm trying to make is that when CM Punk speaks, everybody listens. The same way General spoke, everybody listened. I listened because not only was he like a very renowned basketball coach, and he was like an endemic plant that rises and shows up in Serbia very, very rarely. I'm going to use the word seldom appears in my country. But when he appeared, everybody followed, steered, and listened what General had to say. And not too many people have that quality, but I'm trying to make a point is that General Duško Vujošević believed in something, the same way CM Punk believes in something. Scripted or not, doesn't fucking matter, but he believes in it. But the point is that in his years that Duško was gaslighted by the club, he was gaslighted by a lot of factors and the state, because he saw what evil was coming in our direction. He warned the gravediggers, but alas, as in history, gravediggers didn't listen, and the JSD or Yugoslavic sports section didn't listen, and here we are today, 11 years later, and it is what it is. Unfortunately, it could have been prevented, but you know, in Serbia, it's always like, yeah, we could have, should have, would have, and that's the killer of joy. Now, I have to say, I'm kind of still, I don't know how much I can express what I'm feeling, but he remembers what he fought against. I'm speaking about General Duško Vujošević. He fought even though he knew he wasn't going to win, but he still did it because he believed in and the cause. And you can ask any people when you go to Belgrade as a tourist or as a YouTuber, streamer, whatever the fuck you are, just go and ask gravediggers about Duško Vujošević, about great times when he left or he was chosen to be gone and be like a forgotten a little bit because of the political system and parties and whatnot. Ask any gravedigger in Belgrade. Ask them and they shall tell you. When you're going to see what is Partizan Belgrade, what it means to me. What I'm wearing right now, this X and the hat, I don't have to tell you anything from A to Z. You already know what I'm referring to. This hat or this jacket. Yeah, I know it's warm, but I don't give a fuck. The point I'm trying to make is that these people are the barrier of the freedom of speech, because I think I read a comment last night on Twitter and somebody said it's really easy, you know, to throw like a fourth wall comments. If it's easy, man, I don't see any other superstars doing it. So either somebody has the privileges or somebody actually believed that, and he was remembered and loved for it. But another issue is that in this case, a context now, the tabloids that used to demonize our general Duško Vujošević, now are expressing gratitudes and condolences themselves, even though they used to really gaslight him and not treat him like really seriously and say some really retarded faggot shit that I don't want to get into. And I kind of refuse to read any articles that were from those NPC medias, because usually that will boil my blood and really piss me off in the first place. But he fought even though a lot of people told him not to. The same way for CM Punk. His first run, I think a lot of people told him, you can even ask Kofi Kingston when CM Punk was there in 2008, 2009, 10. Man, don't fight, it's pointless, just take money, enjoy and chill, and you could be a nobody in the backstage area. CM Punk didn't listen. He became CM Punk. Now, in this bad day of April 8, 2026, General was born in 1959 and passed away gracefully today, and went to heaven, and he remained as one of the really authority figures that everybody's going to remember for as long as we live. But the another coring issue is that when it comes to wrestling, who is going to replace CM Punk someday? I'm just following the creed of Memento Mori. So 25, 30 years from now, who is going to be the standard bearer that CM Punk is representing? Which guy in America is going to fill his shoes? I'm not talking about John Cena. I don't think anybody is going to do that ever in this lifespan or any century in the forward future. But when it comes to freedom of speech, because remember when Cena was doing his Superman bullshit in 2010 and 9, and Jesus Christ, that was pain awful to watch. Besides, think about it retrospectively. When CM Punk spoke against Cena, you felt that he was thinking genuine, even though it was scripted, and I know Vince was kind of retarded for that stupid things. But when CM Punk spoke, he was actually trying to battle fight like Cena on the microphone, and he was one of the rarest who ever did it and actually win him a couple of times. You can watch their pre-SummerSlam promo when Triple H and that cancer guy stood next to him, John Laurinaitis, whatever the fuck his last name is. And they stood and watched Cena and Punk go back and forth between themselves, and boy, was that a breath of fresh air. And I'm not going to go into details on why they booked CM Punk in 2011 in the summer of 2000 the way they retarded it. That's a story for another time. But the point is that this, as yesterday CM Punk said, the general passed away today, you have to remember that the spirit of the rebellion should be integrated into the people themselves. Now is the time to contemplate and say, okay, man, he did this, he did that, I should do the same. The same way we should imitate Christ. I'm not saying in a negative way, religious people don't come with me to AK-47. I'm saying this, if he is the Lord and Savior, we should do the things he did. Remember, he went to the lowest circles of hell. He spoke with, all sorts of people that we fucking detest today, because we'll never have his understanding and empathy and humility. No human can have that. That's impossible. That's only for him. The point I'm trying to make in this is that if you really want to understand the world, you have to go to those pits of hell to see what is going on and try to help them and save them. That's why people love seeing this symbol that's on my head. This. So people see it and they go, oh, there is still hope, because for Gotham, this is the symbol of hope. The anti-hero that we need and the anti-hero that we love. Now, the problem in my country, especially, is this passivity and status quo. This passivity and status quo kind of led us to the situation in the country today, because with that, so what, as Ljubomir Bakic, the late architect, said one time, that so what brought us to this situation in my country, in which, it is what it is. Because we spent lives saying it is what it is, and it brought us to this hell place. CM Punk and really pissed off a lot of people, and I don't care was it scripted or not, but I think it wasn't. So he was like a steam to say whatever he was on his mind. And I agree, lower the fucking ticket prices, because we don't want to see famous people. Nobody gives a fuck about famous people made by stupid people. We want to see like a families coming and supporting and teaching their children on who is CM Punk and what he spoke and stood and believed in, even though back in the day nobody took him seriously. Now, in this context, General Duško Vujošević used to speak outlandish and controversial things, and nobody took him seriously. Everybody gaslighted him who wasn't fan of him, and I'm talking about the other side. the media and the other club. I don't know who the fuck they are. Or do you know who them? No. Okay. I don't know who they are, but them. I can now use these schizophrenic genders now. They used to do that a lot to him. And it pissed me off in so many ways, but I couldn't do anything because, good old him, doing that cringe moves that a lot of fucking people do in Sorabendia. But now, it is now for the unity moment. Because if Gravediggers don't unite now, I don't know what the fuck they will. Because time is running and it's memento mori case. The general has given us a lesson the same way CM Punk is giving us a lesson. And have like a one trademark. I'm going to make a comparison. When they spoke, everybody listened. So I'm also going to be like a very specific person. Not too many people have that. So imagine like a certain wannabe YouTuber that ran from Japan because of the incident. Do you seriously, I'm going to take him ever seriously when he speaks on the microphone? Because when he speaks, I just want to vomit or, turn off the TV and do something else. Yes, I'm referring to the blonde guy in the WWE. Yes, him, the scammer YouTuber. Yeah, so talking about him. So when he speaks, the only thing I want to do is punch him in the face. I don't care if he speaks the truth or lies, but he lies most of the time. I want to punch him in the face because I fucking hate him. And that's the case. Now, with the same integrity, I just spoke about him. I'm not even mentioning his name. He doesn't even fucking deserve it. That scammer that ran from Japan, the same hatred I just said a couple of moments ago was directed and pointed towards our general Duško Vujošević when he was alive. The same hatred I just described to the YouTuber guy, the other club fans had that same resentment and they hated him because he was successful and he stood defiantly and he held his two middle fingers to the system smiling. And that's what system gets pissed off about when you're in their game and you don't care and you show them two middle fingers. They're going to even go get more irritated. Now to this, I'm just going to say thank you for coming to this channel, S4E4, Stefan Heller. Thank you for coming. And in this situation, today is a match against Efes, against the Turks. And my people have a lot of history with the Turks themselves, with the 453 years of fighting them off so they can fucking finally rot in hell in 1912 when we liberated ourselves from those Turkish menace cockroaches. Now the point is that we should be motivated highly enough for today when the general has passed away and now in tears, in wrath, in everything that we feel should be directed towards mentioning and chanting his name and believing that our team can defeat Efes. Today is a very heavy day for the Gravediggers and it's a very heavy day for the fans of the scammer YouTuber. And today is a very heavy day for TKO, but fuck TKO. My ruling party is like TKO in Serbia. So you know who is TKO? Now you can put it in the Serbian context and it's not the same, but similar. They trade similarly. So, they're doing like really retarded shit and people are getting pissed off by any day. Talking about this ideology has a lot in common. So the rebel and the general have that traits of speaking, even though a lot of people are going to get pissed. Now, in this case, a context you have to take off. I'm taking my hat off for the general and the rebel, CM Punk, Duško Vujošević. And I'm saying to you that now is the fucking time to be living and be alive and piss off people who prefer NPC and status quo and whatever the fuck they prefer. Because General never believed in that bullshit. He believed in his integrity and he believed in a lot of things. That we Gravediggers recognized what he was saying, when he was saying, to whom he was saying, and to whom he was describing the issues that Partizan Belgrade has. Now the issue with Partizan Belgrade generally as the sports section or Jugoslovensko sportsko društvo, nabijem ih na kurac. Partizan Belgrade is the problem is that we have a lot of poturice in football or basketball. It's always some jajara. It's always some guy who's going to sabotage it. It's never like a competent people staying in the club. It's always some guy in the system that has to nod club and just behave like he knows what the fuck he's talking about when it comes to Partizan Belgrade. The difference is that the general distanced himself in 2015 when he was outvoted and told him to go away because a lot of people were not getting upset by what he was saying to the very obvious things in my shithole of a country called Serbia. And Even if he didn't pass, prior to his passing, the general had a really restrained relationship with the club. It's because the horse guy from Prislonica, whom I described in previous seasons and now I'm mentioning him again, kind of developed, yeah, you should come, but you should also buy a ticket. That's what this horse cocksucker said one time to the general. I respect him, but he should buy a ticket and he should come. You know, horsemen, the people are really gonna resent you even more. The more you exist, the more people are gonna fucking hate your guts, and you can't do anything about it. The point I'm trying to make is this: when CM Punk made this promo, it really resembled of that 2011, and it was on the spot. I think I wanted to say on the beginning of my video, it didn't resemble in 2011 in that sense, but he spoke for us, not because of the price tickets, but because of this bullshit within TKO and WWE that has been going on. The same way the general has been speaking about it very loud and openly, and was gaslighted and ignored by a lot of people. What he came to be known about is a very polarizing figure to the other side, but also he was a very unapologetic about himself, the same way CM Punk is. And also he has a lot of friends, I guess, but a lot of enemies, the same way general. And now, before I finish my video, I just want to say that it's very important. So when it comes to, expressing the opinions and beliefs, that's something that shaped my country, is expressing dissatisfaction and expressing your opinion that it fucking sucks ass and it should be something done about it. Not just being quiet, oh, well, No, that's not the cause and that's not the point. The death of a general should be like a spark and like an ardor, like something to make us motivate to be even more pissed off and fight against the tyranny that's in our country. And if you guys gonna say, if some fucking bots from the dark side are going to say that I'm incorrect and I'm talking shit, well, I'm looking at my country, man. You can say what you want, but I see it with my eyes. I'm not stupid. I see what the fuck is going on, and this tyranny has always had the job to make us sterile, to make us retarded, to make us anything bad. But the people have started to awaken. And if you watch one of my videos from Cancelslavia, when Serbs start to awaken and they look at you and start to analyze you and you're their enemy, boy oh boy are you fucked in advance. That's what I always loved about vigilante justice. When the people look at you and they want to choke you, GG. So I want to say that I really support what CM Punk has been saying to them, to the fucking TKO, and to everybody in the back. And for that support, he has unlimited thanks from me, because I forgot to mention, I grew up on CM Punk, the same way I grew up on Duško Vujošević. Those are the people that made the difference. That scammer guy that ran from Japan isn't going to be remembered for anything positive in the first place. Don't be like him. Even though, yeah, he has money, fuck money. He hasn't done shit with it. You can have the millions and billions and trillions, but not doing anything with it kind of shows you that you're a useless person. Now, the problem is that this day is going to be a very energetic and inflammatory, in a sense that grave diggers as myself are now really saddened by the death of our general Duško Vujošević. And I'm also pissed off too. And I'm trying to make my amends to fucking make this video, but I said to myself, I cannot keep my sorrow from inside. I have to let it out. And it's a much better ventil than it is for me to sit in silence and be painful about it. But the point is that these people that I put in my thumbnail, those are the people I grew up on. So when you say to me next time, who are your role models in life, check out the thumbnail every single fucking time, and you will going to see CM Punk and Partizan Belgrade and the general. And that is my core identity. That is what I'm connected to. That's why I also love Chelsea, because Chelsea represents the middle finger. When they took the money, they become the Sigma bosses. Yeah, I know they won 7-0 Port Vale. Good for us. But now the improvement after the embarrassment in Champions League against Paris Saint-Germain, now you have to fucking wake up and be even more angry. Because those three things in my life, Partizan Belgrade, Chelsea, and CM Punk, the trinity in my life. Now, I'm not being, don't take me wrong, don't jump at me with the rocks. I respect also the Orthodox Trinity. I'm just making a parallel when you put a kosa crta. It's the Orthodox Trinity and this Trinity in my life that made me who I am today. I believe like they believe and the general believed. So to me, to drop my beliefs because some cocksuckers are gonna get offended, so fucking what? Being hated by losers is the price I'm willing to pay, or I'm paying for not being one of them. Quoting CM Punk. I ovo zlo će se jednom lane zvati kao što pričaju u Crnogori. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, glory and eternal thanks to the General Duško Vujošević. May he forever deservedly fucking so in every inch and the meaning of that semantic and a grammatic word deserves to rest. Because he fought valiantly alone in the rain, in the storm, against all odds and still was defiant. And that's the core of the spirit. When everything is against you, smile, show them the middle finger and say, fuck the system. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to the S4E4. I just wanted to vent out a little bit because I don't think this feeling is going to go away for a while. Because this death kind of really shook me to my, not to my core, but I'm kind of really pissed off. You can ask me what I'm pissed off about, but I'm kind of pissed off the way they treated the general when he was alive. And I kind of, after this day and the information I just read on Instagram and PBG News like 5 hours ago, I'm still pissed off heavily. And the audacity for some fucking media to, our good Dule went away. Motherfucker, you hated him all these years. Now you want to tell me that you're sorry that he passed away. You stupid fucking... Never mind. Thank you for coming to this channel, Blade Runner 2147, Stefan Heller. And remember, what happened to the general will always be the price if you want to stand for yourself, believe in yourself, fight for yourself when everybody's against you. That's the same trope for Partizan Belgrade, Chelsea, CM Punk, and Duško Vujošević. General, Mr. Duško Vujošević. You're going to be alone in your struggles, but remember, when God is on your side, nothing else matters, as Metallica used to say. When CM Punk spoke, when he sat down, the child in me jumped from happiness. And when Mr. Vujošević passed away today, I kind of said, and sat in silence. I kind of went through all the flashbacks of watching for like 2009, 2010, for 2014. And it's still like a very heavy feeling, and I don't think it will ever go away. But I have to say, no man, it sucks ass, but I have to say, General passed away, but we will still fight for the cause, because fighting for the cause is hell of a lot better than fighting for nothing. And remember, one of the greatest American sayings, if you don't believe in anything, you'll fall for everything. Remember that? You have to be like a core principle. The principle has to be integrity and common sense, and standing proudly, and not giving them to pat you on the back and treat you like an NPC character. You have to fight for yourself, and then make a group of people who are going to do it together. Because trust me, when the people when the people are doing it together, the system is going to get severely pissed because you guys are uniting against them, and that's not a good sign for business. But now it's the point where you have to decide in what you want to be. Remember as CM Punk or General Duško Vujošević, because General Duško Vujošević is still and will be considered one of the fucking greats of all time, and CM Punk as well 20, 30, 50 years from now when I become old as well. But until then, the greats will be greats, and people are going to remember these two people I have on my thumbnail, the General and the Rebel, and nobody's going to remember the scammer from YouTube that ran from Japan and scammed people for coffee and whatever the fuck that was called. Think about it. Only the crazy and rebellious people change the world, and no NPC people like that YouTuber that ran away from Japan changed the world. Think about it. Until then, Blade Runner 2147, Stefan Heller, and remember, Partizan Belgrade and Chelsea and CM Punk and General Duško Vujošević, become straight edge. Believe in him, in that sign, and Christ is King. Because as much as we are saddened, 99.99%, 0% of me is happy because General has resurrected, and he will continue his mission, his campaign, in our minds, in our body, in our soul, and he will continue from heaven or other life to fight for the same cause he fought while he was alive in Sorabendia, fighting against the tyranny and enlightening people that they should do the same, and not being passive and not doing anything about it. Until the next video, thank you for coming for this channel, and remember, Partizan Champion. You can chant the other part, so it's not, this video is not for calling out for the chants, but you know, I'm gonna say my part, Partizan Champion. And when this video finishes, and you can add the second part. But it's not about him. And it never will be about him. He's just a complex guy. He's like a schizophrenic who hates our club. But it's luckily that he hates our club. And it's funny, I'm not mentioning his name, but you know who I'm talking about. And that's the sign that we're on a good trail. Because he can try all he want to, but we will even still fight more after General's death. Because him does not understand that when this happens, people can only unite. And that's what it's against his interest. Thank you for coming for this channel. May General Duško Vujošević rest in peace internally. And remember, Partizan Belgrade is an idea that's going to thrive and exists even long after all of us are gone. Memento mori. Keep smiling. And remember, always be yourself, no matter what.